Hey, it's Vas here from Aussie RC Airspace, and today I'm going to be giving you a bit of a walkthrough on all the planes that I currently own, as well as a bit of a look around at the studio and how I edit my videos and where you see all this sort of stuff behind the scenes, which I think will be kind of cool. This is my first video back for 2024. I've had a little bit of a hiatus now for a couple of months whilst I looked after Christmas and New Year's and all that sort of thing, and I've got a whole bunch of content in the pipeline at the moment that I really want to release, but I wanted to do this video first, and I think I want to do this at the start of every year going forward because it really kind of gives you all a bit of an update on what I've got, what's coming, what I've gotten rid of, and so on and so forth. Now, originally I used to do these kind of like collection and studio tour videos on the main channel, but because my collection has actually gotten quite big, both in aeroplanes and cars, doing it all together would just take way too long. So I figured on this channel I'll do just the planes, and on the main channel I'll do just the cars. So if you are watching this and you're curious about all the cars and everything that I do on that channel, check the video description. I'll have a link in there at some point once I upload that video. And if it's not there yet, just hold out, come back and check in a few days. But I'll try to have these videos both out at pretty much at the same time. But yeah, I'll have a video on the tour of that if you want to see all the cars. So some of the planes that I've got coming up at the moment that I currently don't have, one is the FMS P40 1.4 meter. I've had this aeroplane in the past, and I know it's been out for quite some years now, and I had that for a few years myself until eventually it started to get a little bit grubby. It had a bit of hanger rash and stuff like that, so I just moved it on, and I've been without it for about a year now, give or take. And this one came up brand new. It was a bit of a deal. The guy didn't, he bought it new here, still in the box, hasn't been assembled. And yeah, I got a bit of a deal on it, so I figured I'd snap it up. So I'll be picking that up in a few days. I've also got the Freewing F18 90mm. That is coming hopefully in the next month or so. And that'll be in the grey scheme, and then I'm going to do my own colour scheme on that. And I've also got the X-Fly F22 twin 40mm EDF, and I'm really looking forward to that one because by all accounts, that looks like a really fun plane to fly. It's a nice size as well, and being twin 40, I think it's going to perform really well. I've got the twin 40 Eagle from X-Fly, and you'll see a review on that here on the channel very soon. But yeah. There's lots and lots of planes coming throughout the year. I've got a whole list of planes that I've got in my wish list that I want to hopefully get my hands on, but we'll see how the year pans out because I am fast running out of room. So there's a good chance that the planes that you're going to see today in this video may not all be here at the end of the year. So we'll see how things go. All right, so for now, I'm going to jump behind the camera, and we'll start with this wall back here, and you will see, I'll give you an update on everything that I've got, as well as the wall that's behind the camera, and a whole bunch of other planes that I've got scattered throughout the house. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Stick around. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. All right, let's get this show rolling. All right, so starting with this wall, you can see that I've got a whole heap of planes hanging on here. This kind of, I can modify this around and move it around as I go, depending on what planes I get, what I sell, and so on and so forth. But we'll start with the Goblin. So this one I actually bought, it was technically secondhand, but brand new. The guy had built it from just basically spare parts from the Aussie warehouse, the Hobby King Aussie warehouse before they shut down, which is why it's got a different color canopy and a different colored tail, and none of the electrics in this is stock because, as I said, he only bought the wing and then the fuse and put it all together. So originally you had a motor like this. It was a 2836, sorry, I'm not even pointing at it. It was a 2836, it was a 2200 kV, I think, and it was running a 7-inch prop, running on 3-cell, and it actually did okay. It wasn't bad, but I wasn't really super impressed with it. So I did a 3530, I think, 1800 kV, and this thing's an absolute animal. I run it on 4S now. It's got, I think I've upgraded the ESC to an 80 amp or an 100 amp, I can't remember. And yeah, I've just got a new spinner for it because this spinner was very badly balanced and it forever had oscillating issues. So hopefully the spinner will make this thing spin a little true and it won't give me any vibrations, because when I take the spinner off, there's no problem. It's when I put it on that's the issue, and I've tried to balance it. And anyway, so that's going to get fixed up soon, and hopefully I'll get that in the air again. But this thing will hit over 300 kilometers an hour on a 4-cell without any problems at all. The Arrows Viper 50mm, definitely one of my favorite jets at the moment. I've got a 50 amp ESC in that. I've taken out the gyro because you don't really need it to fly these planes. I've got a little bit of a 3D printed tip on the exhaust nozzle there. And I think that's all the mods I did to it from memory. It's just the ESC. Oh, and I've got a little tail weight when I was putting it together. There's a little tail weight. I can do a bit of a review on this if you guys want to see that, and I can run you through it, because these planes are absolutely fantastic. This thing is like the best plane to fly in the wind. You can like hover it and stuff. It's an awesome, awesome plane. And it'll do about 110 miles an hour, which is really, really cool. And then we've got these two here. These are the Stingers or Strikers or something, T750s. And that box down there is another one. I bought a spare because I had two and I figured I'll get another one. So there's another one in there. I bought these pre-COVID. These were really cheap. They were like 70 or 80 bucks delivered. Now they're easily twice that amount. So you can't really get these at a reasonable price anymore. And to be honest, for like under 100 bucks, this is pretty cool as a kit. This one is set up as a 3-cell. So I've got a 3000 kV 2836 motor there. I think I'm running like a 50 amp or ESC or something like that. This one's really fast on 3-cell. This one's not as fast. It runs a 4-cell. It's got a quad motor in there. It's not quite as fast. Still very quick, but the beauty with the differences between these two setups is that this is much lighter and you can actually feel it when you fly it. And I can do high alphas with this really well, whilst this one is more of a speed demon. So yeah, just slightly different wings, even though they look identical. And then, I don't know, I've got that one as a spare in case I crash one of these, or in case I want to do something else with that. We've got the EFX Racer stock. There's really nothing special about that guy. We have the E-flite Viper 90mm. The only thing I've changed with this is the EDF is the metal housing one. And that's because I used the 90mm EDF out of this and put it into another plane, which we'll talk about in a second. It's in another room. So that's my Viper 90. It's starting to get a little bit grubby now. It's starting to have a bit of hanger rash and a few dings here and there. So I'm going to be repainting this one hopefully this year. I just got to decide on a scheme and what I'm going to do. X-Fly Swift. This is a beautiful glider, totally stock. Nothing's changed on that. That's the Eclipse and Cobra. I actually had the VTEL version as well, but I unfortunately crashed that. Had a really bad launch and it went in. And now I've got the T-Tail, which I'm yet to finish off. Everything's printed. It just needs to have the push rods and electrics installed, and that's it. And then of course we've got the Viper 70mm 15th anniversary edition, which is one of my all-time favorite EDF jets. I just love this thing. It's an amazing plane. Can't really complain about that one. Over here we have a couple of UMX planes. We've got the Wacko. I literally just picked this up last night. That was brand new with 3 flights old, and I picked it up for a bit of a bargain with a couple of batteries. UMX Air Tractor, I actually bought that one brand new, and I love that thing. It's so much fun to fly, so I don't mind a couple of little micros. It is kind of cool to have these, and yeah, they run the same battery, so hopefully get to maiden the Wacko tomorrow. See how that goes. Over here we have, if I move my tripod out of the way, we have a couple of E-flite F-27 Evolutions. This one here is my original one. I've had this one for like 4 or 5 years now. Probably, actually, it must be longer than that. Could be 6 years. Because I've had this for a very long time, and it's been an amazing wing. And I've always wanted E-flite to bring these back, but they haven't. And about a month ago, this one popped up on RC Trader, and it was reasonably priced. It wasn't a steal by any means, but it was reasonably priced. And the thing I like about it is actually it's in better condition. It's in newer condition than mine. So I like the fact that I've got 2 of them now. That one's old stock. This one's running a different prop, and I've got a 60 amp ESC in there, I think. So this one's definitely faster than that. But yeah, they're both, you know, great wings. Would love to see E-flite re-release these at some point. Hobby King Excalibur, or Durafly Excalibur. This is actually my second one. I had the original one for many years. I flew that heaps, never crashed it, never had anything wrong with it, but eventually the green faded and the plane got a little grubby. So much like the P40, I moved it on and I bought a new one. This I bought just before they released the V2. This is the 3D AeroWorks X88. This has got like cob lighting all the way through. It lights up really, really bright. It's actually a pretty cool wing, but it is a little tricky to fly. I think it's maybe slightly underpowered. It only runs on a 3-cell. I want to reprint another one without the lights, see if I can make it a little lighter, and maybe run it on a 4-cell. We'll see how that goes. Mamba 10, this is the G1. I've got a different motor in it. I'm still running stock ESC and everything else. Still only runs on 3-cell, but this plane, I love this thing, especially in the wind. This is an amazing plane to fly. I can't really complain about the Mamba 10. And as we exit the room, you'll see this is my computer setup over here. We've got a couple of planes just up on this wall. I've had this one for many years. This one is probably only like a year or so old. These are the Sonic model Nano Sky Hunters, I think. And the black one is actually, I think the black one is better than the white one. Just in the way that they're built and everything. It looks like they've changed a couple of little things. Very subtle stuff, but I do prefer the black over the white. In saying that, they both fly really well, and that's why I got the white one. Like I said, I've had that one for many years. This one's much newer, but yeah, just good fun to fly, really. They're just a fun little plane to throw around. And then as we pan across here, you'll see some of the cars and stuff that I've got for the other channel. And then over here, we have some more wings. The Neptune, which is the Tech One Hobby Neptune, which I believe Motion RC sell this wing now under the Skynetic, I think, brand. And they have a couple of colors. I may actually bite the bullet and just pay for the shipping and get a couple more of these wings, because I really, really like this wing. This one's actually got a busted aileron now, so it's actually worn out, and I need to get it fixed up. I haven't touched this wing in probably a couple of months now. We've got the C1 Chaser, which is a wing that's been around for quite a long time. Designed specifically for FPV, which means I had to add a heap of nose weight just to get this thing to balance out. But runs on a 4-cell, really fun wing to fly. I actually don't mind this wing at all. The Flex Innovations Piranha, this has actually been a pretty solid wing. It is a 6S wing, but it's actually not as fast as my E-flite F27. The cool thing with this wing is that it does have twin rudders, so you can actually use them as a brake when you're coming into land, and you can also do like inverted flat spins with this. So it's a lot of fun to fly. You can do knife edges with it, all sorts of crazy stunts. This is actually a pretty fun wing to fly. It's quite unique, which is the reason why I have it. I'm contemplating changing out the power system because I feel like it could be faster, but then I'm worried that it might spoil all the other flight characteristics that it has. So I don't know, maybe I'll just leave it. You know, if it's not broken, don't fix it. So I might just leave it. And then of course we've got the X-Flight Eagle, which has been an absolute gem. I love this wing, and I'm really looking forward to doing a review on this because I've seen a couple of videos on YouTube of people just bagging out this wing, saying that it's no good and it's horrible, and that is just not the case. This wing is fantastic. You just have to get the setup correct, and once you got that down, it's actually a really, really good wing to fly. Moving on to the next room, there's a couple more planes in here and a bit more cars and all sorts of stuff. Now this is mainly my sick bay, so this is where I put all my sick cars that need to be rebuilt and got broken bits and pieces and stuff. Not all of them are. Some of them are brand new, like this one here is absolutely brand spank. I've never even used this. I've had this for like a year. But I just like that car, so I bought it. And then we've got others that are just basically, they're not broken. They're just cars that are sort of semi-retired and they're just living there. Over here we have the Dago Red. And then over here we have my print station. So this is where I print all my stuff. We've got the P1P over here. Underneath is the casing, the P1S casing, which I'm going to be eventually putting it on. Got the Elegoo Neptune 3 Pro, which is actually a really cool printer. We have a 3D printed Eclipson Model S. And then over here we have, I think it's a Phoenix Models Bay Hawk, which I've been building this for like a year, and it takes a lot out of you. Balsa planes just take a long time to get together, and I'm about halfway done. So hopefully this winter, when things, you know, flying kind of slows down, the weather gets bad, I will start to focus on this and eventually finish it off. A couple of Hebao cars that I've had there now for months, which I got to get around to reviewing on the other channel. We've got the Stingray, which I've printed. I just got to assemble. This is also from 3D Aero Works. This is actually a V2. I worked with the guy to sort of modify a couple of little bits and pieces on this wing, and I had it all printed out. But now with summer, I don't like to fly 3D printed planes in summer because the sun just melts everything. So I'm not in any particular rush to finish this off. I think my 3D printed planes are really cool for winter because you can rinse them off and clean them up, and they don't wreck, you know, like unlike foam, it doesn't, the mud and the grass doesn't wreck the plane. So that's probably what I'm going to be doing, is finishing it off once the, you know, summer's over and the cooler months start coming. But yeah, I've got a whole bunch of like 3D printing stuff. This little camera here, this is like a webcam type thing. It's like a security camera. Cost me like 35 bucks, and it's freaking awesome. It's HD, it's got night vision, and when I'm printing, I can keep an eye on both printers. Now this does have a camera, and I can, you know, check the printing of this via the app, which is great. But sometimes, you know, if I'm printing on that printer, that doesn't have a camera, so I use this to kind of keep an eye on things. And yeah, that's essentially this room. As we go across, this is the little like retreat that I have, and this is where the main studio is and where I do most of my filming for my cars and my main channel. I got the Tim Carelli Spark, which just turned up this week, and I'll be unboxing that and running that very soon on the main channel. Got a little workbench over here, some spare parts boxes. So all these boxes that run along the back, they're all spare parts, all my radios and everything, some tools, some bits and pieces. I got a charger over there that I got to unbox and do a bit of a review on. That'll happen on the main channel. Some more cars, some bikes and stuff like that up here. And that's it for planes. There's no planes out this way. So we'll go downstairs and I'll show you where the rest of the planes are. So at the bottom of the stairs, we have the kitchen and meals. And over here we have my FMS 810. And then on this side, I'll just turn the light on real quick. We have the living room, and then we have the Yas 39 Gripen from Freewing, FMS Rafale, 8S Eurofighter from Freewing, and we have the L39 from Freewing, which is an 80mm. And these guys live up here in my living space. They're really nice, pretty planes, and they make great wall art. At the opposite end of the living room, we have the garage, and this is where the rest of the fleet lives. So you can see how I've got them hung up over there. Got a little shelf unit here with like some bits and pieces, some tools, paints, this and that and the other. This is a bit of a workbench where I'll do a lot of my soldering. I've got cable, spare cable and stuff like that, a box full of shrink wrap of all different types. Over here we have a box full of different connectors, bullets, XT60s, 30s, 3mm, 4mm, spare cables, bits and pieces of all sorts. We've got some GST plugs there, spare balance leads of various different cell counts. Everything is there if I need to do any repairs. A little wire crimper, like a Z-bend pliers. We have, this is not ketchup, this is water for when I do my soldering. So just an empty bottle of ketchup, put some water for your sponges. A few spare parts, a couple of spare EDFs up there, bits and pieces. I've got bubble wrap up there, and I've also got packing airbags. This is for when I sell some of my stuff. If I need to wrap anything, I've got everything I need to wrap up, you know, cars, planes, whatever it is that I need to be posted. Bit of a mess down here, a bunch of random stuff. That's my bag and my toolbox for my car. So this houses my radio. Got a box there with some ordnance for my planes. And you can see all the planes over here. And then on this side, we have more bits and pieces. This is my charging station. So I have all my chargers lined up here. I have all bits and pieces in here. Cables, clevises, control horns, hinge tapes, all that's in there. Spare servos, servo wire, small motors, big motors over here, blown ESCs, servos. This is mainly for my cars. ESCs for my planes. I've got a variety of different ESCs in there. Spare receivers are kind of like in this little spare box over here. All my batteries, 3S 2200, 4S 2200, 4S 1500, 4S 1000s, 3S up to about 1500, tiny little 3S's up to 1000, and tiny little 2S's in here. We've got big 6S's in this one. We've got 4S, oh, if I can get them out, 4S is quite a lot, so that's a lot of 4S's in there. We have some 3S, most of these are for cars, but there's a lot in here for planes as well. And we have 2S for my cars as well. LiPo bags just down there, junk, bits and pieces, odds and ends, stuff like that. This plane I'm actually going to be giving to one of the guys at the club. He's a young kid, he's only just starting out, but he knows how to fly decently well. Plane owes me bugger all, and I've had it for years. I've never put it together, so I figured I may as well give it to somebody that's going to actually have the time and the enthusiasm to put it together and fly it. I got my little Sport Cub S up there, which was a hand-me-down from a friend. He crashed it and then he gave it to me. And over here we have another hand-me-down, a plane that's very old, that is still in a kit form. And I don't know if I'll ever put that together, but that was also given to me by a friend. And then on this side, we have all my cushions and pillows and doonas and stuff. This is all for when I pack my planes in my car. I've got stuff to, you know, protect them. And then there's like a little cradle for when I'm setting up my planes and stuff. This is just random stuff. I recently moved some of this stuff around, so this will need to find a home somewhere. I don't know where that's going. And that's pretty much it. Now, moving on to the planes, as I move my plane stand out of the way, you can see over here that we have quite a few. Starting with the Futura from FMS. This is the V3 standard plane, nothing special about that. This is, I think, a Park Zone Wildcat, and that's running a V900 motor, but it's only running on 3 cell. And that flies really, really nice. My freshly painted V900, which I really don't like the paint job on. I mean, the pattern looks good, but the finish is terrible. So I'll eventually repaint that. But yeah, that's looking the way it does. The V2 ME163, you guys would have seen a review on that on the channel recently. And well, in that review, I had another one, my original one, which was due to be painted. Well, here it is in all its glory. It's finally finished. We have another one that's the orange and silver one, and then we have just a plain green one down there. The Tech Sumo, which has been around for years. I actually don't fly this wing all that much. In fact, it doesn't even have a receiver. But at one point, you know, I used to fly at FPV, and yeah, it's just a fun wing. Hopefully Hobby King brings something like that back, you know, a nice cheap wing that you can just throw around. That would be really cool to see something like that. Speaking of wings, there's actually an Assassin there that I need to put together. So I'll eventually get that one going, hopefully before the summer's over. E-Flight Timber, nothing special, standard. Hobby King Frenzy, Free Wing F35 70mm, Free Wing F22 90mm 8S. This has got custom lighting in it now. So I've actually put some custom cob lighting in here, and it looks absolutely fantastic. The Free Wing Venom, Cougar 80mm, FlexJet V1 or G1 90mm, V1200 over here, the E-Flight P51 1.2 meter, the Flightline Spitfire 1.2 meter, the E-Flight Corsair 1.2 meter, the Flightline Sea Fury 1.2 meter, the LA7 1.1 meter. Not my favorite. Beautiful looking plane. Absolutely love the look of this plane. Just I don't connect with it when I fly it, and I'm actually going to be selling that one. So by the time this is uploaded, that plane may actually be gone. The Trainstar Exchange. Exchange is actually the red one underneath, which came with a 3-channel wing, and I only really just fly with the 4-channel wing. This is the latest version of it, I've got this thing set up to do like almost 100 miles an hour. It's an absolute bullet, and it's a lot of fun to fly. The other one is set up for night flying, so it's got a really mild system in it, and it's just a nice cruisy plane to fly on calm evenings when the sun's going down. You turn the LEDs on, and it's a really cool plane to sort of putt around in when it's nice and calm. And that is pretty much my setup and how I store all these planes in this house, along with all my other equipment and everything else that you can see here. There's, before I forget, there's like props up here and stuff. So I've got large props in this box, smaller props in this one, glues, epoxies, all that type of stuff's in there. Spare bits and pieces, spare parts, canopies, things that would sort of fit in there, I've got in there as well. And yeah, on this side, this is all my like adapters, spare charge leads, and random charge leads and things that I've got in there as well. So that's pretty much it. And then I can turn these lights off just like that. And you know, when I'm soldering and stuff, I can put my phone up here, and I've got a Bluetooth speaker, and I can just listen to music and do a bunch of soldering and repairing and stuff. This is the spinner for that Goblin, so hopefully a nice alloy or metal spinner will fix the vibrations on that. It'll be nicely machined. And I've just knocked over my my stand, but yeah, there we go. Got my prop balancer up here as well when I want to balance my props, and that's it. All right, let's wrap this up. Okay, so that's going to wrap it up for this video. Now, I know that I went over some of these planes a bit quick, so if there's something that caught your eye that you want a little bit more info on, maybe you want me to do a review on it, leave a comment down in the comment section. I'll do my best to kind of get around to it and maybe give you some info on the mods that I've done, or how it flies, or give you a full review. It really depends on what sort of feedback I get, because I know some of these planes have been around for a number of years, and you know, you've probably already seen like 10 other reviews on them, but if you want to get my take on it, by all means, let me know in the comments down below. So that's going to wrap it up for this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new, and of course stay tuned for a lot more coming up here. I've got a lot of content in the pipeline, and I've got some new planes coming in as well, some of which I can't even mention to you as of right now because I've sworn to secrecy. So stay tuned, lots to come. Hopefully you guys will stick around. I'll see you in the comments and in the next video. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.